bigger. Well, actually, it's about the same exact size. I take that back as my drawing table. Usually I use a drawing table just because it's convenient and I can get my cameras hooked up for it nicely. So yeah, I'm just going to pan us on over here and let's take a look. I'm going to switch us on over to the art view. Got a nice shot of the whole canvas here. There we go. And in the top corner above me, I've got a nice little image from that we're going to use as our reference for Star Trek Voyager's opening sequence. As you can see here, I've already got the canvas. It was gessoed, primed, and laid out here. And just to give you another idea, this is the original painting that I did for the live stream. Obviously, it's up in the corner too, but this gives you some sense of the scale. Look at that. It's actually smaller than just Voyager itself, which is hilarious. It's actually going to be nice because a lot of times when I'm doing the smaller paintings, the details, it's hard to get all the details in there. It is going to be the large one. Yes, indeed. And yeah, so I started out, I did a nice drawing of this view of Voyager. I used a whole bunch of different references that I had. Yeah, so just a little bit bigger. Yes, exactly. We're pushing it all out there. But yeah, I started with I gathered as much reference as I could for Voyager herself, including from the estimable Mr. Sternbach, who I appreciate, and I will do the best I can. If you're watching, Rick, I'll do the best I can to capture it properly. In fact, some of the details aren't quite in there yet, but what I did was I tried to make sure that all of the major components are here, so when we actually get into the end phase of detailing this out, I can make sure that I capture it all properly. In fact, I know I got a couple of things wrong. These little impulse drive decks actually end a little differently. In fact, I might just go ahead and fix that right now. These are actually phaser strips right here. This thing kind of ends and comes down there, so I want to make sure I get that in. And then the same thing down. Yeah, I kind of got it. I got it better over here. Yeah, there we go. So unfortunately, because this is such a large canvas, we're going to be cutting off a little bit of it, at least today anyway. Once I get through the first phase, I will probably mount it up on my easel and aim the camera a little differently so we can kind of see the whole thing. But yeah, we're just going to kind of tackle it, let the camera go. We'll check it out. So to start with, and I'm going to switch back over to my other. Here we go. So you're kind of looking at the giant canvas here. I'll pan the camera down. I mean, it's right behind my the goofy microphone. So it's a pretty good size. I'm just kind of sitting at the desk, and over here off to my right, I've got a rolling cart that has my paint palette on it. I basically use a piece of tempered glass that works out really great. We're going to be starting with acrylics today, so I've got a whole bunch of water here. I got all my brushes, and this is it. My whole thing. I can't see behind the microphone here. There we go. I've got another rolling cart that's kind of follows me around. It's got all the paints that I'm using for the night. We're going to be starting in acrylics today, and I'll apologize ahead of time. Usually when I do one of these paintings, I go start to finish and we get the whole thing done. And that's just not going to be the case today. We're going to start. I want to capture all of the lines on the ship here. It might be a little boring, but we're going to get through it as quick as we can. Because this stuff is just basically on here with graphite. And I really want to make sure I've got some solid lines in here for the ship itself. And probably the plant. There's a little moon here. I really like having the extra moon in there. It's actually kind of fun. And if we get to the nebula, I'll probably just do a tonal, pick a tone and get some of the details laid in for it so I know where everything's at. And after we do a kind of a layer of acrylics, and this will probably be in a future session, I'm going to go at the nebula with oils because honestly, oil paint and nebulas, it's a good thing. It's a little, the balance is weird. I'm not as fond of going oils with a technical painting rendering like the Voyager here, but we might actually bring it to a point where I go for that, just kind of break through that. Usually Bob Ross, he works wet on wet, which is a very specific technique for oil painters, and it makes it really tough to kind of get in and do a lot of the fine detail when you basically the whole surface is just, it's like painting in butter, which is great for nebulas, not so great for spaceships. So yeah, I'm going to fire up my side camera. I've got a shot of just, basically it's just a shot looking right over my paint palette, so you can kind of see what I'm working on at any point in time. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can't get this going. Thank you all. I've got ultramarine blue and burnt umber. What I want to do is kind of do a nice dark gray, not quite black. So I want to get in some fine line details. So I'm going to start, and I'm not going to do a lot to start. We're just going to kind of get some going here. All right, so I got a little burnt umber, a little bit of ultramarine blue. These two mixed together to be a nice kind of dark gray. And I'm just going to do a little mix in here. What I've added was a little flow enhancer, because this is the thickest, this is like the heavy body acrylic paint. So it doesn't really go on like an ink like I'd like. But let's just get this mixed up good here. There we go. And we'll use that for now. Sorry, I just lost all of my paper towels too. Hang tight. There we go. Let me find a nice... Okay. I mean, this tiny, tiny brush on here. What I'm really just going to do with this, though, is kind of use it like kind of inking in the ship itself. I don't want to lose any of my lines when I start doing some painting over the top of it. So we're gonna make sure we've got all that. All right. Let's see how this is going to go. I mean, again, this is a little bit like, you know, watching sausage being made or something. Whoa, hey, look, first mistake. First happy accident. There we go. I just splattered paint across I got it so thin that I splattered it right across the canvas. That's okay. This is where I go into my Bob Ross mode. It's okay. It's a happy accident. We'll fix it in post. Yeah. All right, let me get that out of here. This is where you can tell you got a professional artist, when they like throw blobs of paint all the way over just because you got it too watered down. Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. Hey. Oh boy. I've got to admit, I do like working on the larger ships like this. It makes it so much easier to capture the finesse and the details. And I was kind of looking forward to that part. Yeah. All right, now I got to get in some of these guys. There we go. Getting in a few of these details. Oh boy, I really screwed that up. But you know, there's no accidents here. Even if I like smudge this up, all of these details, I kind of like do a finish pass anyway, where we can tighten things up, tighten up the design, tighten up the details. But by having them painted in now, I actually have a good reference for them. There we go. And it'll help start to come together. But yeah. Yow. All right, so I'm going to do all the darker details, like the phaser strips. There's a phaser strip under here. This is all detail that you really can't even see when this ship is passing. I mean, you can see it, but if you're pausing your screen, the ship is only like a few hundred pixels across. It's Voyager's in kind of a strange upscaled, up-resed high def on most of the streaming stations right now, so it wasn't quite up to the full thing. For some reason, I thought they were like belugas. I know, right? They're the cetacean crew members. Oh, I see. Were they dolphins or manatees? Well, in theory, I mean, cetacean, right, is the whole class, I guess. When Rick Sternbach drew the Cetacean Ops Lab in the Enterprise D, it looked to me like they were dolphins. But what they drew in Lower Decks definitely looked kind of more manatee-like. So I'm not really sure. I don't think they've come out and stated yet what species of cetacean that they made these guys, which is hilarious on its own. So it's clearly some variation thereof, and who knows, maybe 24th century. Maybe they're genetically modified in some fashion, but they do kind of have beluga-looking heads. So yeah, hilarious. And just in case, I've got the arrow shuttle basically drawn in. I'm not going to do the full-on accurate one, but I want to capture the overall shape right now before I go too far. Oh my gosh. Because if I don't get the position right, then I stand no chance whatsoever of getting the final design right. But apparently on the Star Trek Voyager model kits, no one really, I mean, they kind of got it close, but not everybody. So that has to be annoying if you were the person that sat back and actually worked on designing the ship. That would drive me nuts. Absolutely nuts. Okay. And there's the front windows up here, which I don't know if I got that quite right. But we'll make it work. There we go. The bowling alley, yes indeed. They always had room for bowling alleys and all that other fun stuff, but I don't think they had like food and water. Maybe they had food and water storage, but some of the things that you wouldn't think of is especially a problem in the old Enterprise where they have like 400 and some people on it, and it looks really huge. They try to make the thing look huge, but I really don't think they had enough room for all the basic things just that would keep 435 people alive for that long. I could be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong on that. I don't think they showed the captain's yacht until Insurrection. That is correct. There was no showing of the captain's yacht at all, which I think it's a shame. You know, Voyager had this really cool looking little aero shuttle thing that's tucked into the front there. Yeah, captain's yacht. And the Enterprise D had one, had kind of a neat oval looking one that I know they designed it. Andy Probert, the designer on Next Gen, one of the designers on Next Gen, he has whole renderings of that thing, and never saw it from the D. Saw it in Insurrection, which I think was a John Eves design. Yeah, because I've got a model of it someplace in the garage, kind of one of those pre-built resin painted ones. But yeah, I think especially in Voyager, I think it was a real mistake that they never showed the Aero Shuttle, because it was a cool little design. It's a cool little ship. I would have liked to have seen that in action. And instead, they went ahead and made the Delta Flyer, which is fine. I mean, that was cool too, but you know, you had it built into the ship. Whoop. Yeah, I get the bumpy hand syndrome where I'm trying to work on something and all of a sudden the brush jumps over, I don't know, the canvas and whatever else, which usually is almost disaster on smaller paintings, but on this larger one it works out kind of nicely. But yeah, again, I'm not being too concerned with the drafting of this per se. We'll be sure to catch up with that in a little bit. These aren't actually big rectangles in the bottom here either. There's actually details there, but yeah, they're pretty complicated. I just wanted to make sure I knew where they were, so I kind of blocked them in here. How very fun! Because of course. Couldn't resist. You only joined your Twitch for your vids. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, Twitch is a little different than some of the others. I know there's a little learning curve to it. It's been a good platform though. I've had a good time with it. There we go. I'm just going to get in some... I just want to kind of, like, the part that's basically space here. I'm just going to do a little wash on it just to get some color down. Get the canvas covered a bit. There we go. Good times. Seemed appropriate. Bum, bum, bottom, bum, bum. Oh, yeah. Love the heart. What am I doing? I was playing this a few weeks ago, or playing the same playlist, and when it came to the song, I almost turned it off, skipped it, and I had a revolt. I had a near revolt on my hand. The peasants were revolting. Yes, they are. No, it's a joke. Not calling it peasants, for God's sake. It's an old Wizard of Id joke. All right. Yeah, it's exactly. Now we can all sing along. Well, it is actually funny when I was kind of like still in shock when the when Enterprise aired. I went to Wonderfest down in Kentucky, and we were all like, "What did they do that for?" And then all of a sudden, after a few beers, like everybody jumped in and started to sing along. That was actually pretty funny. Okay, so all this that I'm painting over here is going to be a nebula. So I don't mind if it's a little bit muddy. I'm not trying to make it, super. I'm not trying to make this like, super dense with paint or anything. I'm just trying to get some color tones down, which right now is black because most of this is the space part anyway. And we're going to do something a little different for the nebula side of things. But I know the bottom corner is a little bit dark, so I'm going to get the bottom corner too, which is probably going to fall off the page. There we go. Michael Giacone's, is that how his name's pronounced? Star Trek 2009 soundtrack. It was good. What are we going to do next? All right, so I am going to switch gears a little bit here. And what we're going to need is the nebula background on this. And hang tight. Let me just turn off that thing. So if you look at my painting here, I got my original painting from our live stream about a month ago, a little over a month ago. The nebula on the right side of the painting is two colors. So the top half of it is basically these sort of red tones. It's kind of red, magenta, a little touch of orange with a hot spot, and then the bottom half of it, it's just, really nice cool blues and purples. So it's kind of like two different colors. And the way we're going to go about this, like I said, we're going to be working in oils, but just painting straight onto white. You can do it, of course, yeah, absolutely, but I've learned some tricks from landscape painters and very traditional classic painters anyway, where you basically put on a layer that's the complementary color. It's an underlayer basically. So I'm going to basically do the complements of our nebula, which is it's gonna be interesting once we finally get the oils on. But right now it's gonna look a little weird. I'm trying to mix up a nice green tone for the top because even though it's a red orange nebula, I'm gonna paint it with some green colors. What'll happen is that's gonna become the underpainting and the undercolor. And when we start going in to do the final piece, We're going to take advantage of the fact that it's got a green underpainting and get some luminosity to it. And that'll help us push the color a little bit. It's a subtle effect, but I've done it on a few other paintings. Old tricks. I'm going to forget all the technical terms of what I'm trying to describe here. It's like a Giselle, or I think is for green. And good Lord, I should know all this, for crying out loud. My brain aneurysm is starting. I can't think of it. But yeah, there we go. Got a nice, got a kind of a nice muddy green here. I think this will be a good one. We're playing with light. Effectively, paint goes on in layers. It's never completely opaque, although some is more opaque than others. So we're going to play on the fact that light's going to bounce through the layers, hit the canvas, bounce back out, and you're going to get an effect with the paint. Have I tried? All right, this green's a little dark, so I am going to, let's see, boom, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, green's a little dark, so I'm gonna lighten it up just a little bit. I've got some white here. Let me see how I can. There we go. Whoop! Move my brush out of the way. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna brighten it up there just a little bit. But Utrecht's acrylic paint is great. Yeah, stick to their artist line, of course. Yeah, but it's good. I like it. I have some of their oil paint. Some of their artist grade oil paint. It's really nice. There we go. Probably went too light, but we're just gonna go and see how it works. Am's going for the stream here, and two of them are hooked up to the same bus. It really doesn't like that at all. You'll get one that just isn't very happy. Never fails. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead. We're just gonna go ahead and brush that out here. This is kind of where the bright part is. So I don't want this too dark there. There we go. Bum bum. Christopher's a time traveler. You can see into the future in the upper left. Yeah, exactly right. This is the. I left that up for reference, so folks wouldn't be too confused as to what we're doing. That Voyager painting really took off when I shared it, which is really great. It's always a mystery to me which pieces of art from the live stream are gonna kind of like leave a mark. You know, kind of what's gonna be the one thing people key off of and share, and it's really bizarre because some things I think will be like, oh yeah, people love this. This will really take off, and others it's like, nope, just kind of doesn't. I don't lose sleep over it. Let's put it this way. But it is a fascinating thing to kind of monitor. Just kind of keep an eye on it. It's not going to help me determine too much what I do. I'm just going to paint what I like to paint anyway. So yeah, I might have grayed this green out too much, but that's okay. We're just gonna make this work for us, right? We've got a whole different layer coming up after all this settles in. Yes, but we're all time travelers. We're all traveling into the future. Ha! Gotcha there. I'm going to put in a few wisps of nebula. I think I went outside my lines. Oh no, what am I going to do now? What would that one be? Since the planet in this is mostly like, it's a little reds and blues. Yeah, you should have ran that by us when he's stuck finishing now, right? Exactly. Well, it's all part of the great experiment, right? I don't know kind of what's going to be fun and what's just going to kind of be annoying. So there's a fine line between fun and annoying. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Raw sienna. I think this would be a reasonably good one. A little bit more than that. There we go. And I still have a couple of tubes of my cadmium orange. Not going to go non-cadmium yet. Not for a while. Throw a little bit of that in there just to orange it up a bit. Boom. Clean off the old palette knife there. But hey, thank you everyone for joining me here today. We're just having a good time. There we go. Room to work with. Yeah, this canvas is enormous. In a good way. Yeah, the downfall of going for a bigger painting is that there's just a lot more stuff you need to paint on that bigger surface, which is, you know, it gives you a chance to do the details that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. I even left my little note down here. I don't know if you could see it. It says blue nebula. So hopefully that, like, by the time this ends up getting finished, there won't be any of those little, like, side notes around. And I'm going to be honest with you. By the time I cut off today, the painting's not going to be pretty. It's going to be kind of weird and ugly looking, which is a little unfortunate. But you know, we'll come back to it. We'll have a good time. All right. Look at all that lovely green that gets stuck in there. All right, I'm going to get around the ship here a bit. Whoop. Sorry about that. Hit the microphone. Trying to here we go. Just trying to get the planet covered here. Since the planet's got a lot of blues in it, I'm gonna pre-prime it with the orange so that it'll react with the blue nicely, and we'll let that be we'll let like the continent surfaces, which are also kind of like in these earth tones here, fend for themselves a bit. That's perfectly fine. I actually took a real nice tutorial from a pretty well-known artist about a year ago on this style of painting where you do an undercoating like this, and he does brilliant landscapes, brilliant cloudscapes. So I thought, you know, if I could learn from somebody that has learned from the masters, it should work out pretty well for me too, right? All right, gonna get some, since I have some thicker paint, gonna get some thicker paint in there. There we go. Yeah. It's hard to keep everybody happy, isn't it? Holy smokes. Look, I love this. I've got oranges and greens on here. I've done the Halloween version of Star Trek Voyager. There we go. Thought maybe I would get in here while they were manamanaing and just kind of grab some white and brighten up where it needs to be brightened, and throw in some more greens where it needs to be set. Just have some fun with it. I'm painting black and white, kind of. Well, green and white actually right now. Monotone is what I'm trying to say. There we go. Whoop, too dark. There we go. As long as I still had the paint on here, why not, right? Well, I'll get some nice, nice nebula shapes with the brush here. Hopefully you'll see something fun in the next couple of weeks, too. We've got a few other surprises coming up here. There we go. Alrighty. There we go. All right, see if we still have enough ultramarine blue in the tube here for this. I need a nice kind of mauve toned color here, so we're gonna mauve tone this one. Let's see, you gotta get some blue on there. But oh yeah, where's my magenta? And do a little magenta. There we go, magenta, Columbia. Oh, that's a joke. And then there's mauve. Yes. A little touch of raw sienna to gray it up just a little bit. So let's see what we got here. All right. See, if CMYK Ninja was here tonight, he'd be going on about that too. That's always his favorite. When they say, you know, cyan magenta or blue magenta yellow. There we go. Need a little bit of this. There we are. I actually don't. I don't think I got enough. I don't think I have enough magenta. I've certainly made way too much of whatever I did make, though. All right, it's gonna be dark until I add some white to it. And alrighty, there we go. Yeah, that'll be a good one. A little watered down. Holy crap! I mixed enough of it for, like, you know, 6 paintings. Oh yeah. And please don't look too carefully at my palette handling. I'm sort of one-handing this. I'm not really paying close attention. I'm being a little sloppy, but if you're watching at home, don't do what I do. Dooby-doo, dooby-doo. Yes. I dismiss that one. And let's see if we can get this on in here. I'm just going for like kind of a thin almost glaze. All right. So let's see if we can get this on over. There we go. Yeah, it's a little thinner than I wanted, but that's okay. We'll make this work. There was a little bit of sunlight up there. Sunlight. Nebula light. Yeah, even if I just kind of get a nice wash down here, this will help us at least this will help us kind of visualize where we're going before we get to the before we close it on out. Yeah, it looks like my lower layer's not doing too bad. I'm trying to be gentle with the brush though, because I don't want to lift the stuff from underneath. There we go. But yeah, it's kind of like in that's one of the reasons I'm kind of intrigued with this angle of the ship. It's sort of it's an angle where it's mostly in shadow, I guess. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. It's a nice dramatic shot. Voyager peeling away. And I gotta tell you, it was driving me nuts. I was looking all over the place for this screenshot, or some screenshot of the ship doing exactly this, thinking, you know, how hard could it be? You know, someone's got to have captured screenshots of Voyager in almost every position, right? No, it's like literally just the one opening sequence is the only time that they really kind of had this peel away shot. I'm like, that's too bad. It's gorgeous from this shot. It's gorgeous from this angle. Nope. Not allowed. A little bit more there. There we go. So just my luck. So this was a combination of evaluating the screenshot and kind of doing my own drawing. And I referenced there's some really good shots of the studio model out there that I was able to reference too, which helped out quite a bit. Whoop. Move this back out of the way. There we go. And some of these lines that I painted in were actually like the shadow lines, which is going to help me, especially when I get to painting the darn thing like this. So yeah. Alrighty. I actually want some lighter paint in there. But I don't have that mixed up yet, so we'll have to do that. Alrighty. I wanted to sharpen that edge up with my that. I need a different brush. I've got my really terrible round brush that I use only for specific purposes. So yeah, there we go. I wanted to get, for some reason, the back of this. Again, it's not a saucer. The back of the shoe. I want to make sure I preserve details here. Yeah, there we go. We got a little bit there. A little bit. I want to clear that off. I want to be able to see that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I can still see through it. Cool. We are in good shape. Oh, I know what I needed to do. Kind of want to get the planet, the backside of the planet here, because I didn't really have that in. I'm sure I'll lose that. There we go. I know this is really, really rough, and if you're just dropping in on me here, the plan is we are just at the starting phase of this painting. It's going to take us a few sessions to go through this. I'm basically just getting the underpaintings in. Voyager, the Federation's shovel, exactly. And it's a big painting. We're going to pick it up with some oils when I come in next time and work in the background. We're going to work in the planet. We're going to work in the nebula over here. And they're going to be the exact opposite colors. So there's going to be reds and oranges up here in the nebula, and blue tones down here where it's orange down here. So these are basically our clever underpaintings for now. But hey, good start. Got it covered for right now. I think I'm going to work on closing it down for today. I appreciate everybody coming by. It was definitely a longer stream. I know when I started, and so it's about 3 hours, I think, is where I got to. So yeah, it's a good time. Usually my streams will only last a couple of hours, but I got this actually to a point quicker than I thought I was going to, so that's pretty cool. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Also, catch my weekly stream over on Twitch every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Thank you.